I'll spend a little bit of time talking about how we might be perceived within a video meeting through the stuff that we're wearing and the stuff that's going on around us, because this is really important stuff, because people still do make snap judgments and they form opinions based upon what they see as much in an online way as they do in a face-to-face meeting. So in terms of clothes, to start with clothes, have a bit of a think about whether what you're wearing to your video meetings is the stuff that you would normally wear to a face-to-face meeting. Now, this is going to be different for everybody, obviously. So a solicitor or an accountant might generally be kind of more disposed towards wearing smarter clothes than, say, someone who works in marketing or a painter and decorator or something like that. And sometimes it can be a little bit weird if you sit there seeing an accountant wearing t-shirt and jeans, and you can be like, all right, that's a bit strange, unless of course that's your personal brand, you know, friendly accountant and all that kind of stuff. Fair enough, if that's the case, then that's good. You should absolutely stick with that. But counter that, also you might be sitting there someone in marketing who you might be expecting to wear a plaid shirt and some casual jeans. If they sit there wearing kind of a tuxedo, then that might be quite strange. Again, unless that is like a thing that they do to kind of, you know, to separate them out from other people in their industry. So this stuff is personal stuff, and it's very much different from person to person. But what I really don't want you to do is you to be having your face-to-face meetings in one way and looking one way, and then having the online meetings and you look entirely different. This is something we see all the time, and it's just something to be considered and something that you should be mindful of as you go. You want to make sure you're making an effort, and you want to make sure you're taking into account how you're perceived. In terms of the background that's behind you, now this is something you need to think about as well, because people, you know, your face is only taking up about what, 40% of the screen, if that, probably less actually, and the rest of the screen is filled up with stuff that's going on behind you, and so that stuff's important as well. So what does this mean? Well, we discussed we don't want a window behind us before, but also we don't want to have stuff like an overflowing bin or some washing that's going up behind us, or just some weird filing cabinets. You know, having a background behind us that looks good and fits in with our industry can be a really, really important thing, and it can look really good, and you know, it's something that you should definitely consider. So for my own personal video meeting setup, I have some fairy lights because I love my fairy lights. I also have some movie posters, and I've got some shelves with some cameras on and stuff like that to try and kind of keep on brand a little bit, I guess. Now, you don't need to go to that extent unless you're having a lot of different video meetings, in which case that's fine, go for it. But really you want to make sure that stuff that's going on behind you kind of looks really, really good. Some platforms like Zoom, you can do digital meeting backgrounds where it kind of separates you out. If you want to go for that, that's okay. I'm not personally a big fan, but I know plenty of people are. MDH loves them, so you know, it's a different sort of thing. So Matthew really likes them, I'm not so keen, you know, it's opinions, I suppose. What I will say though, if you do have a digital background, set up a virtual background, then make sure that you're separating yourself out from the background in some way. So Matthew has a green screen behind him when he's filming, so that the camera and Zoom can kind of separate those two out. Where sometimes you see people just having that with just kind of clicking the virtual background on and just whacking up their logo behind them, and it can look really strange because sometimes they can't quite figure out what the background is and what their face is. So it can look really odd because you get them turning into their background, and that's not good for a meeting. I think in that instance you're better off just having the actual physical background behind you. Generally speaking, I like the idea of having a physical background anyway, because you can make it match your brand, and it looks like you really pay a lot of attention to that. But you know, the green screen route is a really good route you could possibly take as well. But in a nutshell, what you really want to kind of focus on here is making sure that you match your personal brand, both in terms of stuff you're wearing and stuff that's going on in the background. You look sharp, you look clean, and everything kind of looks nice and professional, and the rest will take care of itself.